Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of eXp Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com.
Treasure Coast Connector. Connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Well, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. My company by the same name is one of the show's sponsors, and we help business owners to create awareness of the existence of their products and services in the marketplace through websites, lead generation campaigns, social media marketing, articles in the news, video production. All the details are on my website, www.tcconnector.com, or call 772-925-4557. Treasure Coast Connector, the show, puts a spotlight on local business owners because everyone has an interesting story of why they do what they do. When we learn about them and do business locally, it strengthens our local economy. Well, you know, sometimes it's frustrating when you want to see your doctor and it takes weeks before you can get an appointment. Even worse is when you want to see an initial doctor or a doctor for the first time, and then it takes months before you can see that new doctor. Well, joining me in the studio today is a family physician, Dr. Andrea Kaupas, and her practice, Coast2Coast Healthcare. When you need to see her, it's never an issue being seen by her, and she's here to share all the details of her new practice. So welcome to the show, Dr. Kaupas.
Thanks, Ellen. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. And before we start talking about your practice, I would love to know, and everybody listening and watching would love to know, what inspired you to become a physician?
That's a funny question. You know, I can't honestly answer. I was so young when I wanted to become a physician. I don't know the true reason at that time why I wanted to become a physician. But of course, through the training and many years of education, I realized it's the love of learning how the human body works and how amazing it is. Yeah. And the science. I mean, I've always been drawn to science, so combining that is huge. And then through the training of medical school and residency, when I got to have patient contact, I also realized, you know, it's truly the patient-doctor relationship. It's so unique. People open up in a way that you don't get in any other place. And I feel honored to be able to have that relationship with people. And that's truly what keeps me going on a day-to-day basis in this career of medicine and the love of what I do. And family practice allows me to see every age, the entire family, so you really get to know people at a bigger level than just their disease processes or chronic issues going on.
Well, very nice. That's wonderful. So, you know, here in Vero Beach, it is no secret that, you know, you sometimes will see ads from a physician saying, accepting new patients, you know, and then sometimes you'll get a referral. Somebody will say, oh, my doctor is wonderful for whatever reason, right? Then you call and they're like, oh, in 6 months, right? Literally. And so people are starting to get a little nervous, you know, about that. So it's wonderful to hear. So like, share with us a little bit about what you offer in your practice.
Yeah, so Coast2Coast Healthcare offers healthcare for all ages, from newborn to I've had patients over 100.
Oh, wow.
So I take care of, again, the whole family, every age bracket. The benefit is being a direct primary care office, it allows me to truly get people in when they need to. If you call with an acute issue, it's not going to be 2 weeks. It's going to be within the next 24 hours. Even if it's just a telehealth appointment, if you're too sick to get in, you know, I can't get into the office, I don't want to drive. Well, let's call and do it either via telehealth and a video or just a telephone call and we can address it. The other benefit is that you will get seen as a new patient in a timely fashion. In fact, you know, I have openings the week of the time that you call. So if you call as a new patient, you will get in and get seen in a timely fashion, not waiting months. And that's not just because I'm a new practice, which some people might think. I mean, I just opened in July of this year, but My goal is when I get to a point where I can't get people in a timely fashion, then I'm not going to accept new patients for myself anymore. I might grow and add providers, but I want to keep it to where I can truly take good care of each and every patient instead of making you wait weeks for an illness.
Right. And then when you get in, you only have 15 minutes per patient. That is also very stressful.
Huge. The biggest, the average appointment time is 30 to 60 minutes in this kind of practice. In fact, I just had a new patient appointment that lasted 2 hours last week. But the reason, there were multiple medical concerns that needed to be addressed, and we can do that in this kind of practice. And so the patient leaves feeling confident in what's the plan is, and I leave feeling like we have a good plan going forward. And it's a big difference. I can be proud of practicing medicine again instead of that 7-minute timer with the patient of, you have average patient appointment of 15 minutes, but realistically, by the time the doctor gets in there, it's about 7 minutes. And it's not enough time to address all the patient's concerns, their chronic medications. It's just too fast. So this is better quality healthcare. Yeah,
that's wonderful. So the term, this is the perfect segue into the next question on my list, is you mentioned direct primary care. So for those that are not sure what that means, it sounds lovely, but what does it mean?
Yeah, it's not a unique concept. It's actually been around for years, but it's just becoming more popular. A lot of people equate it to concierge medicine. So more people might have heard of that. It's a membership practice, and as part of that membership is all the benefits that we just talked about. And it includes all of the services provided in the office. So any appointment is not an extra copay. It's just included in the service. Say you need an EKG, that's included in the service. It's not an extra fee. Yearly skin mapping is included in that. Like say you need a skin lesion, like I have this weird mole, can you look at it? Oh, well, yeah, that should probably be taken off and sent to pathology. I do that all in the office. It's all included in the membership. So along with the extra time spent with patients, I try to do as much as I can to keep stuff in the office so you have minimal extra costs with healthcare.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to take a break like a minute or so early because I don't want to get partially through the next question and have to cut you off for the break.
Okay.
So we're going to take a very quick break, but Dr. Andrea Kaupas of Coast2Coast Healthcare has a lot more to say. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Wild, untamed, hilarious. Riverside Theater's Comedy Zone. Experience the Treasure Coast's best stage for live stand-up comedy this Friday and Saturday night at 7 and 9 p.m. You'll laugh till it hurts. Start your night at Live in the Loop with live entertainment, food and drinks, and after, be entertained with nationally ranked comedians, including an opening act and headliner with cabaret-style seating and food and drink table service. Get tickets at riversidetheater.com.
Don't miss the Sebastian Clam Bake, November 4th, 5th, and 6th. The Sebastian Clam Bake, known for high-quality food like linguine with clam sauce, succulent shrimp, clam chowders, steamed clams, and traditional festival food. Plus, historical reenactments, a kid zone, and some of the area's best bands, demonstrations, and vendor booths. Take a stroll by the river, enjoy fresh seafood. Admission is free. The Sebastian Clam Bake, November 4th, 5th, and 6th, by the river, next to Riverview Park. Details at sebastianclambake.net. For 67 years, Sturgis Lumber and Hardware has been here for the people of Vero Beach. Through ups, downs, even hurricanes, Sturgis stands tall, 4 generations strong. Open weekday mornings at 7. Don't go west. Stick with the best. Sturgis Lumber and Hardware. Don't miss Truck or Treat at C.W. Willis. Bring the kids for Truck or Treating with the Mustang Club, Haunted Gardens at the nursery, and live music under the covered porch. Truck or Treat, Saturday, October 29th from 4 to 8 at C.W. Willis, Oslo Road, Vero Beach.
Revive Vero Beach, located next to Anytime Fitness on Oslo Road and 27th Avenue, has everything you need to look and feel your best, including hormone replacement therapy, stem cell therapy, sexual wellness, weight loss, laser aesthetics, hair, tattoo, and skin spot removal, Botox and fillers, cryotherapy, comprehensive blood work, and everybody's favorite, ozone and IV therapy. Refresh, renew, and revitalize yourself at Revive today. Call 772-492-6607. A member of the iTex trading community. Your iTex dollars are welcome.
Welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. Prior to the break, I was speaking with Dr. Andrea Kaupas of Coast2Coast Healthcare, located in Vero Beach. So you are direct primary care, family medicine physician. And so we were talking about, what it means, direct primary care. And so I kind of wanted to take that break early because there's a bunch of questions now and I didn't want to interrupt you. And the first thing is that when someone sees you for the first time, what can they expect? What's involved? So walk us through that process.
Yeah. So the first thing to know when you come to see me is that it's not going to feel like a doctor's office. And that is my ultimate goal. Yes, I have all the doctor equipment. So eventually you might see that as in the exam room. But the goal is you walk into the waiting room, which I never hope to have to use. That's my ultimate goal, is to never have people waiting in the waiting room. And you walk past that. There is coffee, tea, water. So grab your drink of choice. And we come back and sit around a round table in my office. And it's really an office visit to get to know you. So there's a lot of questions involved regarding your medical history, what's important to you with your health goals, preventative medicine, and making sure all of that is up to date and getting all the basic information in my computer system. And after that, we come up with a plan. Maybe that's doing an examination that day of whatever issues might be going on or your health concerns, or we make another appointment and say, come back and we'll do your whole physical exam and EKG. We'll do everything needed at that next visit. It can be flexible. That's the other benefit. So it's a lot of talking and getting to know each other so that long term we can have a good relationship and better take care of your health. But it's meant to be in a relaxed environment. I joke with people, it should be like having coffee with a friend.
Okay. All right. Well, that's very nice. And, one other thing I quickly wanted to ask very quickly is on your website, and you alluded to this in the first half, is there are certain procedures that you can do yourself. And you mentioned skin mapping, and we're in Florida. So that's a wonderful thing. As part of your service, somebody can have a once over and then you can direct them to a specialist if needed. But what are some of the other procedures that you can do?
So I am trained. I've trained and practiced in a rural town in northern Michigan for many years. So I'm trained to do more procedures than maybe primary care physicians do in this area because there's more specialists here. So I can do joint injections. I can do trigger point injections. I do women's health. So a lot of pap smears for women, and colposcopies. If you have an abnormal pap smear, I can do skin lesion excisions, and that includes cryotherapy for like a wart, earwax removal, which is a common issue that people have. Sure, I'm forgetting something at this point, but
I wasn't sure of sutures.
Laceration repair, casting and splinting for simple fractures that don't require surgery. That's all included and done at the office.
That's really good, because sometimes people think they have to go to the ER, and in some cases they do, but for a minor laceration that might even need butterfly stitches, but you're not sure, you can save people a whole bunch of time and money. And exposure to other illnesses if you're waiting in the ER urgent care with sick people. But I can do that. And as part of the membership, I do, even though my office is not technically open on the weekends, I do say, if something happens, give me a call. If I'm around, I will meet you at the office to take care of it. Very nice.
Because that's when lacerations happen, and you need to get sutured. But yes, I've worked in urgent care for many years as well. So I have a lot of experience doing that kind of stuff.
Well, very good. Okay. So now what I'd like to know are, what are some of the common questions you get about your practice?
So the most common is, what is direct primary care, which we kind of covered already. It's a membership practice. And the other one is, you treat families, because I feel like a lot of physicians in this area don't treat kids. And so I want to just be clear that, yes, I do see newborns as well, all the way up. Other common questions is, what is the membership cost? And I don't have it listed on my website because I want people to call and talk about it, and have that discussion of what the benefit is. Right. Insurance. I know that's always a question. Yeah. What is the role of insurance with this kind of practice? Do you charge insurance? Do you bill it? How does that work? Well, insurance, I don't bill insurance at all. We take the middleman right out, and it's a relationship between me and you. Yeah. Whereas in a typical office, it's a relationship between me, the insurance company, the office administration, you, and there's a lot of people in between. Yeah. So that's the benefit. I still recommend people have insurance, even though I don't bill it. It's meant for catastrophic is the old term. That's probably not the new term, but it's meant for surgeries. If you have to be hospitalized for some reason, or have an accident, or heaven forbid a cancer or some bigger diagnosis, you need that insurance to cover that cost. So my services are really paired well with those common high deductible insurance plans where you're usually paying a lot out of pocket for basic services. It's usually cheaper because you're not spending money on an urgent care or ER. You can call or text with a question. I mean, how many times do you say...
You're totally accessible.
Yeah. How many times do you say, I wonder what's going on with this, but you don't call your doctor because you know you're going to have to get charged for an office visit. And well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. I have so many patients that just text me questions randomly throughout the day, and they don't have to come in. I just answer the question, and it's peace of mind. Yeah.
So that is wonderful. That's worth its weight in gold. And so another thing is that sometimes when someone comes to you, they may have an issue where they have a specialist or two, like let's say a cardiologist. Yep. So what happens when they say, I have these specialists? You're part of the treatment team?
I'm part of the treatment team. And a lot of times with specialists, we work together. So I can call and talk to the specialist and come up with a game plan to maybe have you see the specialist less often, because those specialists are busy, and so this way I can see you maybe every other visit instead of the specialist. I can do, say, a cardiologist. I can do an EKG in my office and then refer out if needed. Dermatology, I do a lot of those stuff here. Now, there are things that you will still need to see the specialist for, but I try to, create a partnership so that we make this service as cost effective for you as possible.
Oh, very good. And where are you located?
I am located on 660 Beachland Boulevard on the island of Vero Beach, and it's in the Chase and Merrill Lynch building on the second floor. So it's a pretty unique building. You'll see it. Yeah, very good. And then what about your phone number? Yep, 772-268-9800. And my website is coasthealth.com for more information.
All right, very good. And so now the other thing about like common questions, how about something that you wish that people would know, like one or two things that you really feel is super important for people to know about you and your practice? Maybe something that you find yourself repeating a lot,
I think the biggest thing that I'll just say what patients have told me after going through that first visit is they say, wow, I feel like you care about my health. Whereas in a lot of doctor's office, and I don't know if it's the speed or what you have to be, but most patients come out saying, I would do this again in a heartbeat. I would make this choice again because it's better care. It's better quality health care. I truly care about that relationship with my patients. That was why I do what I do, and what keeps me going throughout the day. So I want to continue that on with other patients.
Very good. And what I want to make sure that people understand that it is you in the practice because you recently opened it. Yep. But I just really have a feeling that you are going to be very, very busy. And especially the snowbirds. They're here to have fun for a short period of time. they have a group of doctors here. They have their doctors, where they are up there. But when they're here, we're, in the land of summer and sunshine. They don't want to spend a lot of time, trying to get in to see a doctor.
Right.
So these snowbirds, I think, are going to be super, super happy. I'm thinking about the busy moms and dads, and I'm thinking about like the people that are involved in sports or hobbies where they find themselves getting nicked or cut, and it's nothing major or even a sprained ankle.
Yeah.
And then you're in the urgent care or the ER for 5 hours. That's really frustrating.
Yes.
Well,
and you mentioned the snowbirds. I mean, when you travel, people that travel a lot, this is beneficial because you essentially take me with you with your telehealth. If you have a phone or a computer, I can treat you when you're out of town, out of state. So it goes with you. It's not just when you're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other things I offer are DOT physicals that can be for non-members as well, and sports and school physicals too. Starting up this year, I started in July, so I got ramped up with sports physicals and school physicals because it was that season.
Yeah, so Vero Beach High School, St. Ed's, all the charter schools, all the schools. So, I think it's worth it to say your phone number and your website again.
Yes, please call me. It's 772-268-9800, and the website is coasthealth.com.
Yeah, and you're, a busy mom too. You're raising a family with your husband.
Yes.
And so what do you think of the Vero Beach area in Florida coming from Michigan? Because it's a little snowy there.
It's a little different. Yeah, it's a lot more sunshine, which is one of the reasons we moved. And yes, I have 2 kids, and they are keeping us busy and starting school this year. So that's a whole nother ball game. But it's been fun. We moved right before COVID, so it's been nice now that we can start to get out and meet people and find ourselves a sense of community, which was a little challenging at first. Yeah,
that was for a lot of people here. You'll find that we just love to be out and about. It's a very civic-minded community. There's lots of networking events. There's fairs and all sorts of social things to do, and we missed it terribly when we were stuck. But at least that gave you the ability to get your practice put together.
Right. Yep. Yeah. If there's anything that we learned through COVID in the medical community, that you don't have to do everything in person. There's still a huge benefit to being in person, but there are times where telehealth is more important or is more convenient and actually smarter if you're sick, and we can keep the germs isolated a little bit more. Right,
absolutely. And when you're doing the telehealth, and it's also video as well.
Yep, it can be video or telephone.
It's all it's like HIPAA compliant is what I'm trying to.
Absolutely, yes. So it's actually through my electronic health record system that it gets recorded through that. And so everything's recorded and very much private.
We got the 2-minute mark from Cindy. That doesn't mean she gives me 2 extra minutes. It means that there's only 2 minutes left. It goes by very fast.
It does.
And so I just wanted to say thank you so much, because it is very frustrating. And I'm going to speak now for the general public, which they know I love to do. It's frustrating. I've been there. I've had friends that will call me up and they'll say they needed to see a brand new doctor, and they're laughing. They're like, it's 9 months.
Yeah.
And
it's frustrating.
So, and it's funny, yet it's not funny. It's not so bad if you're okay, but you just need to see. But if you actually have a situation, that 9 months makes you go, now what do I do?
Right. Yeah. And then you're busy with urgent care visits in between to address whatever might be concerning you. And that's expensive and time consuming. Yeah. And you don't get the consistent quality care from the same provider that you would otherwise. So.
Well, very good. So once again, thank you very much. I'm getting that 1 minute mark. I know that as people, as you're sharing this video with everyone and people are listening to this on the podcast, the 8 of them now, you're just going to get busier and busier. Thank you so much for coming on. It's a much needed service. And my name is Ellen Contreras. I'm the host of Treasure Coast Connector. I hope everyone watching and listening visits Dr. Andrea Kaupas, and that you have a safe, productive, wonderful week. Until next week, I miss you already.